Okay, so welcome back to Breaking Dawn this morning, and as we return, and as promised, we're 17 minutes away from the hour of 8 o'clock. We're almost at the end of the show. We got the birthdays to get to, but before we get to the birthdays, we want to get to Seth Wyoul aboard. He is with us, and he is here via Zoom. Seth, good morning to you.
Good morning, Stefan, and to all of our viewers.
Nice, man. How was your weekend?
Weekend was cool.
It was cool.
Always cool.
It wasn't sweet.
No. But I don't deal with shit.
All right. So, Seth, well, you're a South boy. How you fared with the rain yesterday?
Rain don't really affect me on the side that I'm on.
Okay.
So it's just it had a lot of lightning and thunder. Right. So that reminded me of when I was younger, when we used to get weather like that with all the lightning and thunder.
Yeah.
But, when it was day before yesterday, that thunder woke me up.
Yeah, I remember that long time too. Lightning and thunder, be outside, We outside in the rain, we playing. Yeah. No children running in the house and hiding, but we're going to. So diabetes is the order of the day. It is diabetes. The number one problem, probably globally.
Yeah, it's a massive problem. Massive problem. Well, before we start, I know I touched on this topic. I think this was probably one of the first topics back in 2021 when I first came on that I would have dealt with diabetes mellitus, looking at the history of the word, right? And it goes back, all the way back into the 250 BC time period, right? But the word itself, diabetes meaning siphon, and mellitus meaning sweet. So it means to pass through sweet. So it passes through the body and comes out in the urine sweet. So you get that sweet taste in urine, because back then they actually used to taste the urine to know if somebody was diabetic. Right? Yeah. So they would taste somebody, and if it tastes sweet, then they know that sugar is passing through their bodies. And then, of course, we know we have the type 1 diabetes, which we would call juvenile diabetes, and then we have type 2 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is basically like an autoimmune condition, because it's your immune system that have attacked your pancreas and the isthmus of Langerhans. Those endocrine cells, your own immune system would have attacked and destroyed some of them, so that the body has an underproduction of insulin. All right, and you usually see this in younger people. Older people can get it as well, because based on your diet, you can cause inflammation in the pancreas, and the pancreas could release its enzymes before time, and it would start to dissolve the pancreas. So your body would, the enzymes will start to feed off of your pancreas and can destroy those cells as well, which could cause the body to underproduce insulin. And then we have type 2 diabetes, where due to your diet consumption of excess sugar, it causes your cells to become resistant to insulin. And that there can become problematic. I also remember, before touching on the fact that if your salt consumption is too low, that can also increase blood sugar levels as well.
Yeah.
Right, so this is something that many people don't know, aren't aware of. But what I want to do, the usual, I want to share my screen, because I want to show us some information. So this was based on a study done by the Lancet here, where it shows more than 100 million people in India diabetic. It's actually 101 million people, which is about 11.4% of the country's population. So now think about it, Trinidad, we have a population of 1.4 million people. So imagine a country with 101 million people, right, which is almost 10 times the amount of citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, but just all of them are diabetic. Right? So imagine that. That's a large number of diabetes. But if you look at percentage-wise, you see it's only 11.4% of the country that's diabetic. Keep in mind that 15.3% is pre-diabetic, which means in about 5 years' time, that would result to over 26% of that population being diabetic.
It's interesting you show that, Seth. I had a laugh,
Tell me about it.
You know why I'm laughing?
Yeah, tell me about it.
That's way more people who are living with diabetes than got COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. In India, let me make that clear. In India.
So in
but
India,
go ahead.
Right. Keep in mind also, India also have the highest vegan population in the world at 42%. So that's something someone should take note of as well.
Yeah.
Now, just throwing that one out there. But I want to jump to some other statistics here. So when we look at, in the U.S., let's see if I have these statistics here for in the U.S. Right, so in the U.S. now, we see that 37.3 million people, which making up about 11.3% of the U.S. population, are people that are diabetic. All right, and with 8.5 million people haven't been diagnosed yet. All right, so again, you're looking at the figures, it's around the same, similar to that of India.
Same percentage of the population.
Yeah, basically same percentage.
11.3.
Now, if you jump to Trinidad, on the other hand, we go from the news here, we would see that Trinidad, we are at 14.8%.
Wow.
14.8%. So when we compare the data, we are actually worse than India and the US, right, when it comes to the diabetic figures. So it's just around almost 149,000 people in Trinidad that's diabetic, right? But it's still percentage-wise a very high figure, and it is carded to increase based on how we are currently or presently going. And I find this to be quite alarming, and it should be alarming to everyone in this country, because many people would say, America worse, or India and these places worse. No, they aren't. We are worse. I don't think...
The second paragraph is particularly interesting in that article, Parasram said 50 million US dollars is being spent annually on managing diabetes.
Correct.
In Trinidad?
No,
They're spending 50 million US dollars in Trinidad to manage diabetes every year?
Yes. And that is something I want to bring our attention to, because if we look at some statistics, right, and we look at some figures based on how much money the diabetic drug market in the US is earning, right, we would see why diabetes is on the rise. Because if I have a business where in 2022 I make $61.87 billion from selling drugs to manage an illness that I personally can reverse within 2 weeks, right? Because I've done it many times with probably everybody that come to me that started my program on diabetes. If I could reverse that condition in 2 weeks, there are people that have been diabetic for 20 plus years, right? For something that can be easily reversible within a 2-week period, with a change in lifestyle choices, right? Of course, those choices have to be guided. But look at what the earnings is carded to make by 2032, $118 billion.
Wow.
If you have a product where you can, let me close the screen here, where you can earn $118 billion per year, right, for managing something that can be completely reversible in 2 weeks, would that incentivize you to want to reverse it? No. Because you're going to currently earning over $61 billion from managing something that can be reversed, right? Why would they want to reverse it? Why would they want to give you the information and knowledge that you need to have in order to reverse it? They would tell you they are helping you, but are they truly helping you when all they are doing is putting you on medication? So, someone came to me and they said, their physician, they just came from their physician, and the physician told them that they have type 2 diabetes. And they say, well, could it be reversed? The physician told them that type 2 diabetes is incurable.
Incurable.
Which is the most nonsense that I have heard, right? Type 2 diabetes is incurable. It can't be reversed. which is nonsense. Because they are designed to be the, I just call it the kind of like the thugs for the, you know, like the gang bosses, right? You go there and you have to make sure and earn the money. So you just want to get everybody on medication, because that is what the job that they signed up to do as physicians. That is what they do. They prescribe medication. I've had everybody that has visited me regarding cancer, when I ask them what dietary changes has their physician told them to make, they tell them no, they can eat everything or anything, just in moderation, right? So some people come in with colon cancer and stuff like that, and the physician tell them they could eat anything, right? It's a for-profit business, right? It's a for-profit business, right? If you're making that amount of money from managing something that can be easily reversed, and I'm telling the country, it can be easily reversed. Diabetes is not a death sentence. It is easily reversible. Easy. Right? You just have to make, once you get the right information, this is why I tell people, come and see me. I provide you with the right information. I coach your diet for you, get you to understand nutrition on a level that you have never understood it before, and simplify it in such a manner that you are surprised and shocked. I have never done a consultation with somebody that wasn't shocked. Right? Of how simple nutrition is. But the world today, right? The medical world today, the pharmaceutical world today, make these things sound so complicated. Make it sound so complicated that people lose interest.
You see, it's like preparing for rainy season. Or it's like extending a new block in a hospital or paving the road. It has to be put forward as being difficult in order to justify the hundreds of millions or billions of dollars that you have that you're going to spend. You see, if it's not difficult, then it shouldn't cost that type of money. So it always, it's like everything else. You know what I mean? It has to sound like, you know, it's impossible in order to justify you spending a specific amount of money in terms of managing it, and you know, giving people no hope in terms of reversing it. But that's what you're here for, Seth. Yeah,
exactly. And then we have the addictive factor of it. Now, diabetes is more addictive than cocaine. It's more addictive than drugs. Now, the reason being because it's sugar. Sugar is one of the most addictive, if not the most addictive substance in existence.
Right.
And people are addicted to it, and therefore they don't want to come off of it. So they easily agree to the medical world and pharmaceutical world telling you, here, take a drug to manage it.
Yeah. Take a metformin. So, Seth, I'll tell you what. Folks, if you want more information on diabetes, if you're a diabetic and you're watching the program and you're interested in taking a different approach, you can call Seth Wyola on 761-1952. That is 761-1952. I've got to wrap up right now, Seth, but I have a good partner of mine. He was just diagnosed with colon cancer, and I'll tell him I'll put him on to you.
No problem.
All right, so we'll talk.
All right, then. Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, no problem. That is Seth Wyola on the inside, man. Diabetes, 761-1952. Give him a call.